Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to Jack is Off to another adventure. So now that San Francisco issued its second shelter-in-place order, I'm kind of curious about what life is like in the city. So why don't we go for a little walk and see what life is like here in Japantown. So today, Jack's off to Japantown. Let's go. So the Japanese actually moved here to the US shortly after the Chinese did, and this area, Japantown, used to be a prominent Japanese community. But because of World War II, when the US was fighting Japan, all the Japanese people living in America were ordered to move to these relocation camps. After the war ended, the camps closed. A lot of these Japanese people resettled to places like Chicago, and some did come back here to San Francisco, but they all lost their businesses and their homes and stuff. So nowadays, Japantown is more like a hangout spot. And as for the relocation camps, you can learn more about them by reading these posters over here. All right, we are at the outskirts of Japantown, and over here we can see the Japanese Cultural and Community Center, and you have a long line of people waiting for something. They must be giving out some resources for COVID, but I wanted to show you guys this thing right here, the Nihon Machi Little Friends Japanese bilingual and multicultural childcare. They're starting that overachieving life young, teaching kids 2 languages at a time, which is like a one-up to Americans because 75% of Americans are monolingual. So Americans teach your kids a second language because who knows, a second language could contribute to solving one of America's biggest problems right now, racism. Dang, so that line actually goes all the way over here. See all these people waiting? They must be giving out some good stuff. All right, so I don't know if they have an official entrance for Japantown, like Chinatown, but we do have a torii gate looking thing. And usually torii gates are like the entrance of a sacred place, so let's just make this the official entrance of Japantown. So like this, I'm officially in Japantown. And then once you come in here, you have these bilingual signs to teach you Japanese. So you can learn a few words, you know, like neko, if you want to compliment someone's pussy, cat. Like kawaii neko ne. And then we have this very Japanese looking alley right here. And remember Chinatown, once you get in there, you get hit with these tourist souvenir shops, right? But in Japantown, you have these craft stores so you can make your own souvenirs. And then you also have bookstores. And it looks like all these restaurants are open, but just takeout only. So with the new shelter-in-place order, no outdoor dining. But you can still do takeout, so you can take them out and then you can eat them right here. And just take a look at all these different shops here. You have the dobu, the tofu shop. You have the ramen shop. And then you have this kimochi, which is a very popular word amongst men. Some sushi. And then you have the main plaza down there. So before we go to the plaza, let's check out the streets over here first and see what's on the outskirts first. And over here, I don't know if the older generation of Japanese people like cash like Chinese people, but we got a bank here. So if they want to use cash and they don't want to owe anyone anything, they can get it from the bank over here. And speaking of Chinese people, got a Chinese restaurant in Japantown. You're in the wrong town though. And look, Martin Yan, check that out. All right, and check this out. We have a fish market looking like building right here. And they do have a little bit of history over here. So the Uoki Sakai Fish Market. So yeah, there's a lot of history here in Japantown. All right, so we just saw a Chinese restaurant and now we have a Korean barbecue again in Japantown. So why is that? It doesn't matter what kind of Asian you are here in America, you fall under the Asian umbrella. Because it's kind of hard to differentiate like what kind of Asian you are, right? Kind of like me. If you didn't know me, you looked at my face, you probably wouldn't be able to tell what kind of Asian I am, right? And I can lie about it too. I can be like, hey, I'm Japanese. I'll sprinkle some Japanese words, you know, kawaii neko kimochi. And then you're like, oh shit, he might be Japanese, he might not. You'll never know. Alright, so most people come to Japantown for this plaza right here, the Peace Plaza, and then you have the Pagoda. Alright, so this is the Peace Plaza right here, and before the pandemic, there used to be a lot of performances and festivals, and nowadays it's just kind of empty. But at least they still have this pagoda right here though. Alright, so let's go into the mall and see what's going on inside. How's it going?
Yeah. You want to help us out? I said,
once you come in here, you have these antique shops. And one thing about Japanese shops, they always sell things that I don't need, but I want them for whatever reason. They all just look so nice. Then over here we have the restaurant row where you can still order food to go. Let's check it out. Right here we have Benihana, and I'm sure they're doing things to go, but people come to Benihana for the experience, right? I mean, their food is not bad, but you go there for the experience. So if you were to order to go from Benihana, that kind of defeats the purpose, right? And then you can actually walk from here to a different section of the mall right here across the street, but it looks like it's closed. We might have to try to get there from the outside. Yeah, so some of these stores are still open, but they got store capacity, like this one, only 4 at a time. And then you still have like stores that closed and no one ever moved in. You know, a lot of going out of business, and you have a giant Pikachu right here. Giant Pikachu. And then you also have the takoyaki shop that's still open, so if you want to get food. It's just that you can't eat here, so you gotta go outside. All these cute stuff. Japanese people are known for making cute stuff. They got these boba plushies. So yeah, as you can see inside the mall, it's like very empty. I guess shelter in place is in effect and people are actually complying with it. And here's the outside of Benihana. Like I said, kind of defeats the purpose if you can't get the experience with it, right? If you're only getting the food and not the chef show. But good luck to them though. And up here we have the Nijiya market. Check out all these little signs over here. So many of them. I'm a millennial with short attention span. Can they just like consolidate all of them into like one giant poster instead? You gotta wait in line to get in there. All right, we're gonna find out if this place is open right here. Over here they sell bonsai trees right here. Look how cute these are. They even make plants hella cute. That looks promising. So you can come in here. And check these out. You know how they have those like shelter in place like floor mats or floor posters? They have these, what do you call these? The gitas? They get very like Japanese looking. Alright, so downstairs is pretty dead. Let's see if upstairs is any better. So the bookshop's open. They want people to be educated. But everything else, closed. And you got the food store over there. So as you just saw, a lot of shops are closed. And you know, when the government first issued the first shelter-in-place order, which is back in like March, and that was like 8 months ago, a lot of shops, they didn't know what to expect, right? The optimistic ones were like, oh, maybe we'll just be closed for like 3 to 6 months, ain't too bad. And then numbers were looking good, outdoor dining was permitted, you know, San Francisco was doing a good job, and then now a second shelter in place. So a lot of stores are just like, fuck it, can't afford it, just close it down. So essentially the government figured out a plan to kind of curb the numbers, but they never had a solution for the financial devastation. So what can we actually do? I don't know, maybe like give people money? $1,000 a month? Does that sound kind of familiar? Andrew Yang? Alright guys, so that's pretty much what's going on in Japantown on a regular weekday during noontime. So now it's time for me to go back home and live my otaku life. I mean shelter-in-place life. And for those of you who don't know what otaku culture is, it's like a subculture in Japan, right? Where people just stay home all day, and it's kind of frowned upon because it's like saying you got no social life. But who knew that otaku life would be one of the solutions to the pandemic? Anyways guys, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Until my next video, Jack is off.